Thousands of people told to get out as wildfires destroyed dozens of homes overnight. Firefighters are working hot, dry, and now windy conditions.
The three wildfires are causing agony and anxiety. This midday, there are real concerns about the new Shady Fire as it moves into Santa Rosa. And a good morning. Thanks for joining us for our midday newscast. Now, we will be on until noon today. This is to give you complete coverage of those fires. I'm Marcus Washington.
And I'm Laura Garcia. We are waiting for a news conference to begin any minute now. We'll bring it to you live. Fire officials will give an update on the Shady Fire, which is burning in Sonoma County and has already torn through the Santa Rosa community. Right now, I want to take you out to NBC Bay Area Sky Ranger. Take a look at all the smoke out there. There is so much going on. And right now, the main blaze that they're fighting is called the Glass Fire. It's burned at least 11,000 acres across 2 counties with zero containment so far. Fire crews from throughout the Bay Area are responding for mutual aid for these. More than 8,500 structures are threatened. There's another fire. It's called the Shady Fire. It started as a separate fire west of St. Helena, burning into the Oakmont area. And then there's also the Boyson Fire, burning northeast of Santa Rosa.
Now, we have team coverage on all of these fires. Let's start with Bob Ardell. He's live for us in Santa Rosa. This is off of Highway 12. And Bob, I know it has been, you've seen fires sprout up all over the place. So talk about what's going on where you are now.
Well, Marcus and Laura, firefighters were afraid that the Shady Fire would come down the hills, cross Highway 12, and start burning through these residential areas of East Santa Rosa. And unfortunately, as you can see behind me, that's what it did. It burned up Brand Road, where we're at right now. This is on the south side of Highway 12. And it burned at least, I've counted, well, let's just put it this way, several structures. This might have been a business, and there's some homes up here. Probably 6, 7 structures are just gone. And this was the scene overnight, just down the street from where we were at. The wind-whipped fire came close to burning down another house. Petaluma Fire Department, which was assigned to this area, protected the home until they couldn't. At one point, they had to leave because they ran out of water and there were no fire hydrants nearby. When they returned, the house was still standing, and they kept it from burning down. Hard work and a little luck on their part. Not so lucky about a mile away on Melita Glen Place. Now, this large home at the end of this cul-de-sac caught fire just before sunrise. Was it burning embers in the sky or a fire in the open space behind the home? We don't know what caused it. Shows just how unpredictable this fire behavior has been. Firefighters tried their darndest, but the wind was too much. That home burned down. A home next door sustained minor damage, and firefighters were able to save the 10 or so remaining homes.
Challenge is a lack of equipment, lack of resources, and the weather. That's what's happening right now. We can't get ahead of it because the resources are lacking due to all the other fires in the state.
And are you just chasing, like when your house is on fire, you're just chasing to it?
Yeah, exactly. We're just trying to keep up with what's burning and trying to get ahead of it, but we just can't get ahead of it.
In an ideal world, you'd have fire engines posted in every neighborhood?
We would have 5 times as many fire engines. If this was the only fire going on, we'd have a lot of resources. I don't know if we'd be able to keep up with everything, but we would probably have a little bit of better handle on it.
Underlying, I'm scared. This is scary. Underlying, yes, I'm trying to be as positive as I can, but underlying, yes, I'm scared. This is too close for comfort.
Not only have the firefighters had to deal with the winds, but the temperatures. This morning, at one point, my car registered 91 degrees. That was before the sun came up. Now it's around 80. And you heard the last person who was speaking. He was supposed to evacuate. He did evacuate his wife and kids. He stayed behind to try to protect his home. Fortunately, his home survived the fire that came through. Around 6,500 people in East Santa Rosa, this area behind me, evacuated within the past 24 hours. And this was an area that came close to catching fire back in 2017. It burned in the hills around them. So they knew how serious this was, and according to Santa Rosa Fire Department, they got out of here. One reason why so much of this area is burning right now is it's a lot of unburned fuel that, again, did not burn in 2017 and unfortunately is burning right now. Reporting live here in Santa Rosa, Bob Ardell, NBC Bay Area News.
Unfortunate and simply tragic for so many families. Thanks a lot, Bob.
Well, now we want to get to the Skyhawk neighborhood in Santa Rosa, which is one of those areas that saw a lot of damage. Take a look at this right here. And the firefight far from over just now. NBC Bay Area Sierra Johnson. She is there to show us what firefighters are contending with this afternoon. Sierra?
Yes, just to give you an idea of just how bad things were this morning, we arrived a little before 4 o'clock, and at that time, this was one of the first homes we saw on fire. At that time, we couldn't even tell what color the house was. All we knew was that it was fully engulfed, but now that the sun has come up, we've been able to see the extent of that damage. You can see the windows knocked out, and I'm not sure if you can see through the window, but from my vantage point, there is a staircase, a curved staircase that would go to the second floor that is still standing. Obviously, the second floor is no more. You can see above that it's completely charred. The blinds in the window are still standing, but they're just completely warped. This is the scene throughout this neighborhood. Right now we're on Mountain Hawk, and the next 5 properties were all on fire within the span of 2 hours. Throughout the morning, we just watched firefighters go from house to house working to contain the blaze. Some of the houses around it were able to still stand, and that's because they did a good job of containing that fire, but those flames were huge at points. We met an individual who actually stayed behind, made that tough decision, stayed behind and worked to knock out some of those hot spots in his own yard. He just kept emphasizing the fact that when his neighbors return, they're not returning to a neighborhood, they're returning to a shell of what it once was. So you can see back out here live just the extent of the damage. In the distance you see what would have been a house, you see another driveway, and in that third driveway, a pickup truck. During the overnight hours, it was almost unrecognizable. When the sun came up, you could make out that it was in fact a truck. So out here, a lot of those engines that were here when we went live initially at 4 o'clock have since left. They just stopped spraying down this house for hot spots. Some of those firefighters now finally getting to catch their breath and get a chance to grab something to eat. But for hours, it was a very, very intense firefight. We're working to get some more numbers on just how many structures in this neighborhood were damaged, but I can tell you, along one street, we counted at least 5. So when those numbers do come out, we're going to be really interested to see those. We're live in Santa Rosa in the Skyhawk neighborhood. Sierra Johnson for NBC Bay Area News.
All right, Sierra, good job out there. Okay, look, so I want to give you a map of where Sierra is right now. She's in Sonoma County, and that community we were talking about that's been hit by that fire so far, that is the Skyhawk community. It's over here. But I want you to see this. It's about 10 miles from Coffee Park. Do you remember hearing about Coffee Park? That's the neighborhood that was devastated back in 2017 by the Tubbs fire.
It's just been devastating for people in Sonoma County. Here's a look at the evacuation orders and warnings are now in effect. The area shaded there under evacuation orders. This is the area that Marcus just showed you. Now, portions of Santa Rosa also evacuated right now as flames inch closer there. Now moving on to Napa County, where the areas in blue on this map fall under the mandatory evacuation orders. You can see how large that area is now. Firefighters under such a tough fight this morning. We're talking high temperatures, low humidity, and erratic winds. Not a great combination weather-wise, Carrie.
No, not at all. We've seen some of those ridgetop gusts reaching to 70 miles per hour earlier this morning and late last night. Here's a look at that general area once again. It's where we continue to track those fires off of Highway 12 as well as the Silverado Trail. A large area with once again 3 fires and some hot temperatures that really didn't dip that much last night. This is one of our weather sensors just southwest of Angwin, and we can see that the temperature right now at 89 degrees. Not much of a wind, but once again, some of those higher wind gusts have been a little bit up in elevation. And then the relative humidity down to 12%. That makes those fires spread very rapidly. And then as we go into the rest of the day, it is just going to be really hot, reaching into the upper 90s. And also a lot of that smoke spreading across the Bay Area. So we do have the Spare the Air alert. That's not only for the North Bay, but also parts of the East Bay down to the Santa Clara Valley. As we see more of that smoke spreading in due to a northerly wind. This is a look at our current temperatures. It is still heating up out there. Take a look at San Francisco. We're at 90 degrees right now. The record today is 93. And so we're at 91 degrees in Livermore, 92 in Concord. Napa's at 93 degrees, and we're seeing some 80s for the South Bay. It's also going to heat up today, and we're looking at these temperatures heating up rapidly. Right now, 17 degrees warmer than yesterday at this time and heading toward the triple digit